Welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, your weekly dose of what's new and what's nude in movies, TV, and Hollywood's sexiest stars. Now get ready for your host, the world's foremost authority on celebrity nudity, Mr. Skin.
Legendary Mr. Skin.
Mr. Skin. Dude, Mr. Skin.
MrSkin.com.
Skin, everybody.
Coast to coast, from Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, it's the Mr. Skin Podcast with your hosts, Mr. Skin and Andrea Lowell. We want to hear from you. Call the show and leave us a voicemail at 484-SKIN-POD. Find all things Mr. Skin Podcast online at MrSkinPodcast.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast. It is episode 99, sponsored
Wayne
by
Gretzky, 99.
What's that?
Episode 99, Wayne Gretzky. Yeah.
Who's 69? Was there ever a player with 69?
Whoa. You know what? There has yet to be a number 69 in sports because I think they get the shit kicked out of them.
Right.
But yeah, that's funny. Was there a 69?
Well,
That's funny.
Episode 99 is sponsored by Streamate.com, who is the global leader in live streaming. They have the hottest porn stars and amateurs broadcasting live directly from their bedroom to yours. Streamate creates a totally unique and intimate experience where you get to direct the show however you want. So with an endless variety of performers, you're sure to find your perfect match on Streamate.com. So the question is, are you ready for Streamate, and are you ready for 99?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Streamer. Yeah, another famous 99, Barbara Feldon. Remember her from Get Smart? Well, you wouldn't remember her from Get Smart, but yeah.
No.
She's there's Wayne Gretzky and Barbara Feldon are the two famous 99. So
cool. Now, what makes Barbara a 99?
Well, that was her. They went by numbers, so she was Agent 99.
Got you. Okay, got it now.
Sexy Spy with Don Adams, a great show from the 60s. But
cool.
Anyway, well, speaking of the olden days, one of the things I've been doing is looking at different years and coming up with the best nude scenes from those years. And Andrea, today we're going to have a lot of fun because I actually even remember all this stuff because I was a junior in high school. But it's I'm going to do my top nude scenes of the year 1980.
Ooh,
1980. Yeah.
Nice.
And I was looking at some stuff. You'll get a kick out of this. So it's still amazing to me that just how far things have come with, wealth, in the world. The average median income in 1980, $19,000 was the average median income in 1980. That's incredible to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to me that long ago. And Andrew, I know this is something you will get a kick out of, but the average cost of a new house in 1980, $69,000. Which your house should cost. So,
dude,
yeah, $69,000.
That's fucking nuts. That's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, one thing that doesn't sound high, a gallon of gas was $1.19, which to us today doesn't sound expensive, but back in 1980, that was, when adjusted for inflation, crazy high.
Oh,
so people were always, I remember people bitching and moaning about gas, and it was proportionally just so high compared to even today. But I remember being in high school where guys would give me a ride home, and then I'd have to run inside and get 50 cents out of our little coin thing and give them money for the ride because, nobody had money and gas was so expensive.
Grass, or ass. So you were doing the cash?
Yeah, cash, grass, or ass, right. Yeah, so anyway, that was what was going on in 1980, probably the most famous thing Reagan beat Carter, but also Mark David Chapman. That's when the year he murdered John Lennon, which is a bummer. But,
yeah, man.
That was going on in 1980. Also, Andrew, I don't know if you'll know some of these movies, but the big movies back in 1980 was The Empire Strikes Back. That was a biggie. 9 to 5.
I love that movie.
Remember well. Yes. I remember that with Dolly Parton and Jane Fonda, right? And great movie. Stir Crazy, another good one. And a personal favorite of many people here at the Skin Office is Airplane.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. Actually, one of my nude scenes on my list is from that movie. And Clint Eastwood, Any Which Way You Can, was also a big movie then. Blues Brothers was that year. The Shining.
Oh man, there's so much good stuff.
Yeah, Blue Lagoon, which didn't make our list, but it's still a memorable moment. And some songs from that era, 1980, Call Me by Blondie. You know that one, right? Yeah. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 by Pink Floyd. What else? Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. Magic, Olivia Newton-John. And The Wall by Pink Floyd was the #1 album. The TV shows, Dallas, Dukes of Hazzard, MASH, Love Boat. Remember Love Boat?
Yes,
that was fun.
I do.
Yeah, the Jeffersons these were monster shows. Dallas was like, and I remember everyone watched Dallas, and then the next year was Who Shot JR, and then it got crazier. But yeah, those were the big shows, movies, songs, and all that. And even Saturday Night Live, they debuted an entirely new cast for the first time ever, which was a major disaster. Very few of those people that were in that 1980 cast you've ever heard of, except for Gilbert Gottfried. He was in that cast, but it really was like supposedly one of the worst years ever of Saturday Night Live. So anyway, that being said, now that I've set the
tone, yes, you painted the picture of the 80s very well as far as pop culture is concerned.
Yeah, well, that year in particular, 1980, it's cool for me to do this because I remember going to some of these movies or seeing them on cable later on, and I don't know, it's just a time. Your high school years are special, and I was a junior in high school in 1980. So let me start with my top 10 nude scenes from 1980, and number 10, Andrea, is actually from a PG movie, and it's weird to think that this was PG because of what you saw, but the movie Airplane from 1980 at the 47-minute mark, Kitten Natividad, who she's one of Russ Meyer's famously top-heavy babes, and that's really saying something. She's one of his most famous, and the nude scene in Airplane was meant as a joke, but at the same time, it's super hot. And there's like a point in the movie where the plane looks like it might crash and everyone's panicking. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, a topless woman jumps in front of the camera and bounces her 2 giant breasts. It's a quick scene, but it's Kitten Natividad. And it was a huge movie that year. It's something that people that, like I was, being a kid, underage, so to speak, and I know a lot of kids younger than me that saw that movie. It was like, oh my God, you got to see boobs and saw a great movie. And those were real, spectacular, and awesome. And that's my 10th best nude scene of 1980.
Well, that is absolutely epic. Who doesn't remember that movie? We could watch that today and still laugh our asses off. But you're right. The nudity is phenomenal. Kitten's titties are perfect.
Yeah. Big. Yeah, because even in the scene, they didn't show her face.
No,
but
which is the best
scene
part.
with the Jello, the scene with the Jello, and then her and this woman with
jiggling.
no bra shaking her boobs. It was epic, and you didn't see the face at that. And then you see her just run in front of the camera and shake her monster breasts. Was just a memorable moment in Airplane. And an interesting thing: the guys that made Airplane had previously worked with another Russ Meyer Gazunga goddess, Ushi Degard, in the Kentucky Fried movie.
Love that movie.
The one where I've talked to you about with the greatest breasts on glass scene in movie history.
That's right.
Those same guys. So they were obviously fans of big breasts, and that's why they got Kitten. She didn't get to show her face, but she did get to show her boobs, and that's my 10th best nude scene of 1980.
So far, so good. 9 more to go.
Yeah, it only gets better. So number 9 in 1980, this is a kind of a cult classic. It's definitely a B movie, but just an epic nude scene to me, something I remember well. And anytime you could get a nude scene and a ventriloquist dummy in the same scene.
Wait, what?
And it's going to be good. Yeah, so it's Lisa Glasser from Humanoids from the Deep at the 34-minute mark.
Wait, I've never even heard of that. Humanoids from the Deep?
No one's asking you if you've heard of this stuff. We're asking you to comment if it's good. And the dummy wasn't the only one that got wood seeing this, because I love this nude scene. So, let me paint the picture. So, Humanoids from the Deep is like it's definitely a B movie. It's from Roger Corman, his exploitation machine, and it's really wild. The premise for the movie. So if you just looked at the movie poster tagline, it would say it all. They're not human, but they hunt human women, not for killing, for mating.
Oh,
Andrew, this was 1980.
Jesus.
It was a different time. So basically, if you watch Humanoids from the Deep, it's about a bunch of guys in like terrible 1950s style rubber sea monster suits terrorizing these hot babes and ripping off their bikinis. And in the scene at my number 9, now you could see this Lisa Glasser. You don't know anything about her. Nothing really came of her after this movie, but Lisa Glasser opens the movie with this weird scene where she is in a tent with a guy on the beach, and the guy is a ventriloquist, so he has the dummy. So she's getting naked, the dummy's getting excited, the guy's getting excited, and then all of a sudden a humanoid attacks, and we see full frontal, and as you can see, she's all natural. But Andrea, it's just a cool moment, and if you were a guy like me that watched a ton of movies in the 80s on cable television, you know this scene or you know this movie, and it's my number 9 nude scene of 1980.
Well, I'll tell you what, the nudity is epic. Lisa is phenomenal. Her boobs are wonderful. I love that we get to see the
all
bush.
Natural. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to stick to MrSkin.com and just stick to the scene. I'm probably not going to rent this one.
Yeah. Well, it's cool how they filmed it the way she's kind of laying down and
wonderful.
taking her pants off at the same time. It's really a hot scene. Trust me.
It's super hot.
For a young guy
POV.
in that era, this one's ingrained in my memory, and that's why it's number 9 on my list. So
no, it's standout, like you said, because the angles and the lighting and all that.
Yeah.
And she's natural, naked. And now it's time for our Streammate Spotlight of the Week with Brittany Shears, aka Busty MILF for you. And it is so cool to talk to you because you are the quintessential MILF. Hey, Brittany, how are you, love?
Hey, thank you, Andrea and Chris. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're on with the infamous Skin Man.
I love the Skin Man. I love that name.
Yes, and we are big fans of Streammate. So who would you say is the quintessential MILF?
Oh, well, I think that's pretty obvious. a little self-promotion. I have to tell you, when I first started camming 7.5 years ago, it was a name I chose because I wasn't 20, and I was a little bit older than the girls that I had met through the studio I worked for.
You mean
and everyone now gets very upset that they're 30 years old and people call them a MILF. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say that I'm the quintessential MILF, because I've been doing this so long that anyone that has a MILF fetish will come to me.
Got it. And you are gorgeous on top of that. I mean, even if people like MILFs or don't, they might just be drawn to you because you're so pretty. You are 5'6", you're blonde, brown eyes. You would consider yourself a BBW.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I mean, you've got huge boobs, a huge butt. What do you think you get more, love for? Your boobies or your booty?
Definitely my booty. Surprisingly to me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that name was chosen, 100 years ago. So I just stuck with it. The Busty MILF. I am busty, but every guy that comes into my chat room wants to see my booty.
It's a booty world now. It used to be a booby world. Now it's a booty world.
It's so true. Mr. Skin. I don't know what happened there, but I'll take it. It's all good.
I think it's the trend right now. But the good thing is, since you have it all going on, when the butt goes out, you still got the boobs. And I want to say, you've got the lips. You do have some DSLs, girl.
Thank you. Yes, I have.
Please share for our audience. Please tell us what DSLs are. I know, but I don't know if our audience does.
Okay. Well, DSL lips are dick sucking lips.
Yes.
I don't know how I ever got that reputation, but I don't know. I don't have any idea. But yes, it's all about the dick sucking lips, and not to toot my own horn, but I do like to give oral, and my customers love to receive it. So it's a win-win situation.
It is a win-win situation. It's like give and receive, yin and yang. I love it all. So you seem to be really good at everything. You seem to have it all going on, and you clearly have a long list of fetishes that you've listed on your StreamMate profile. Is there one particular thing that your customers come back for all the time? Is it the blowjobs? Is it the ass? What do you think it is, or what do you know it is?
Well, trial and error. In the 7.5 years, the fetish that I'm asked to do most, 90% plus of the time, is the stepmommy role play.
Huh. Now, what do guys want you to do?
Everybody wants to have sex with their stepmommy.
They do? I don't know this. Enlighten me.
Tell us more.
Okay, I'll be happy to.
Me and Skin want to know for different reasons.
When the first customer asked me to do that, 7.5 years ago, I said, let me check with the site, make sure it's legal. And of course, you cannot have sex with your real mommy on cam, but you can with your stepmommy. And then the word spread because I enjoy doing it. I'm a MILF, but I do not have children. So I have no hang up about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not personal.
Yes.
For me. And I'm a very nurturing person. And I thought, well, let's go with this. And my customers now, 90% of the time, want to make love to their stepmommy.
I would have never known that at all.
Can I tell you, in my personal life, my personal dating life, men want to do that too.
Who are we to question, Andrea? Who are we to question?
You know what? I think it's interesting. I love learning all this stuff. It's like it just expands my mind in these sexual doorways I didn't even know that needed to be open. I really didn't know that at all. So I feel like you've taught me something today. So not only are you sexy, you're an educational source as well. Brittany, everyone. Hey,
I'm corrupting your minds. Where do I go with this?
It's so hard to corrupt Skin and I. We are probably, we're out there. But everyone, I want you all to check out Brittany. Go to her StreamMate profile, obviously streammate.com/cam/BustyMilf, the number 4U. And also check her out on Twitter, BustyMilf for you, also with a number 4. Brittany, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And I hope everyone goes and checks you out, especially those with the stepmommy fetish.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Andrea, Mr. Skin. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Brittany.
Absolutely.
Welcome. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
As far as there's many iconic movie moments that you just have to show a scene and the movie, and they don't do. There's not a lot of iconic nude scene moments. I mean, Phoebe Cates in Fast Time popping her top, Sharon Stone, of course, but one that I would call an iconic nude scene because of how they filmed it is my number 8 nude scene of the year. It's Lauren Hutton in American Gigolo, and the scene. Yeah, the scene where Richard Gere has his hands over her breasts, and he's just like, his fingers are open. You could see her breasts through him. He's touching them. It is such a sexy scene.
Yeah,
it's really sexy. And Lauren Hutton, Andrea, was one of the great fashion icons, and she was known, she had like a gap in her front teeth. In the 70s, dentists, it wasn't the same, and she really became the world's first supermodel. So imagine the supermodel being in this movie with Richard Gere, and I think she played she was like a senator's wife, and she hires Richard Gere, who's a gigolo, to like bang her. And it is so hot and great. It's memorable too because Richard Gere showed Package. I know a lot of girls from high school were excited about that. Yeah. And another thing about this movie, the number 1 hit of the year was Call Me by Blondie, and they played it in this movie, and the song and the movie and the nudity made this like an iconic thing from 1980. So Lauren Hutton in American Gigolo, my 8th best nude scene of 1980.
Yeah, and this movie might be the most reflective of 1980 because of what you just said. But yeah, this scene is exactly
Isn't it
iconic.
Hot? It's really hot, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hot, and his the way his hands are just like kind of going slowly over her boobs it's just a great moment. And like I said, she was a big time fashion model too.
Yeah, it's seductive. I like it.
Anyway, back to 1980. My number 7 nude scene of the year, and Andrew, it's getting better and better here. My number 7 is from a movie that's generally regarded as the biggest money-losing bomb in Hollywood history, believe it or not.
Wait,
it's
Hollywood history?
Hollywood history. It's Heaven's Gate.
Ooh.
Heaven's Gate. That's Michael Cimino's film, and it's Isabelle Huppert, and this is notorious for being the biggest money-losing bomb ever. It was a huge deal at the time, and it actually bankrupted United Artists, and it changed a lot of things, because they say that Heaven's Gate is why everything that comes out now is Star Wars or superhero movies, which I'm not as into because they don't have nudity. But it was just because the studio lost so much money on this, what they would then after this consider risky, that you don't see epic dramas. You don't see that. You'll see like blockbusters, or you'll see superhero movies, but you just don't see artful films for adults where they spend a lot of money and all that. So,
but what did they spend all their money on? I don't get it. Like acting fees?
Just trying to get it right. Location shoots, extras. I mean, it
was just a big production.
Yeah, it was an epic Western. And they had so many extras and shooting locations, and they just kept, the thing just dragged on and on and on. But what people forget about is the fact that there was this amazing nude scene at the 1 hour and 11-minute mark where Isabelle Huppert is sitting with Chris Christopherson, and she strips completely naked at the table, runs out, goes for a skinny dip, complete nudity. And though the movie bombed, I still love Huppert, I think is how you pronounce it. I love Huppert, completely nude in this scene. And by the way, she still looks amazing. She did a great nude scene in a 2016 movie called Elle, and this was 1980. So, Andrea, that's like almost, what am I?
30-something, 35?
No, 50 years. It's almost, it's almost, 1980.
Okay, plus
90,
what
2000. So it's almost 40. No, it's almost 40 years later after this nude scene, and she still looks fantastic. And she won a Golden Globe for that movie Elle, and she shows her Golden Globes, and
I'm looking at that
spectacular.
Now, and you are right. She's still got it all going on.
So CP just put that up. Thank you, man. But yeah, she still looks great. So, like I said, the movie bomb, but there is one great thing about Heaven's Gate, and that is Isabelle Huppert nude in the movie. One of my favorite nude scenes from 1980.
Yeah, and I've never seen this, and I didn't know about the history and the drama behind the movie production, but I love this scene because, totally naked, front, back, and running. And you know how we love naked women in action. So
yes, I love nude while running scenes. So anyway... so my number 6 nude scene of 1980 is, you play her on a regular basis on this podcast. It's not Vanna White, it's Vanna White.
Really?
Yeah, I bet you didn't know that Vanna White did a nude scene. And in quite, to be honest, neither did I in 1980, because this movie was made in 1980. Then later on, after the fact, you found out when Vanna White got famous, they tried to, capitalize
suppress
on
it, or
but,
what? Oh,
yeah. So if you want to see a pair of tees, Vanna White here is nude. So this movie's called Gypsy Angels. Horrible, obscure B movie. It was shot. I guess it was like they had pieces of it shot in 1980. It never got finished. And then years later, some footage emerged. But the movie is credited as a 1980 movie because that's when it was made. And in the movie, the then unknown Vanna White did some really amazing nude scenes, and amazing because it's Vanna White and she never did anything else. She did do a Playboy cover spread in the 80s, right, but this is different. This was before she was famous, and it's one of my most I'm into these before they were famous, but
yes,
this is one where now she's still on Wheel of Fortune, and this was just something she did before everyone got to know her. And I'm pretty sure she started Wheel of Fortune around 82. So when she started that, she probably thought this would never see the light of day. And,
no.
And here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is, man. Wow. Yeah. Well, we're getting to know her with this clip. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, so Vanna White, number 6, Gypsy Angels from 1980 is our sixth best nude scene of the year. Now, number 5 is a movie I remember very well on cable TV in the 80s, Night Games, and it's Joanna Cassidy. And Joanna Cassidy's probably best known as the topless stripper robot in the original Blade Runner from a couple years later. And there's a scene where her and Cindy Pickett are laying by the pool, and we get a great look at Joanna Cassidy's butt and breast. Yeah, it's really, what a butt on her.
What an ass.
And this movie was written and directed by Roger Vadim, whose movies had previously made Skinner National sex symbols out of Brigitte Bardot, Catherine Deneuve, and Jane Fonda, who he had a relationship with for many years. And he hoped to do the same here for Cindy Pickett. It didn't happen, but he did forever grace us with Cindy Pickett nude and, of course, Joanna Cassidy, who I was more into and I have as my number 5 nude scene of 1980.
That ass holds up today.
I know, isn't that an ass? Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like we've always talked about, body trends, and right now it's like the era of the gargantuan booty. She has thunder cheeks, and let me tell you, they look damn good.
She was really good, and also her nude scene in the original Blade Runner from 1982 is also
up there,
super hot.
Yeah.
So I was a big Joanna Cassidy fan, and that's why she's number 5 on my best nude scenes of the 1980s. So number 4. Andrea, you know her, but this is just such an obscure, weird movie, and that's one of the things I noticed when I was doing this list is a lot of the footage that I have for these they've never even been put to DVD. It's just like really washed out, crappy VHS copies that I have, but that's all that exists.
We'll take
this is the best I could do, and you definitely will. But so number 4 is Vanity from Tanya's Island, an obscure 1980 movie. And Andrew, Vanity's best known as the protege of the rock star Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he wrote songs for her and created the girl group that she led called Vanity 6, and their biggest hit was this 1982 funk song Nasty Girl.
That's right.
And her real name was Denise Matthews. And Tanya's Island is a pretty insane exploitation movie about a couple. Now listen to this. A couple gets shipwrecked on a tropical island where the only other occupant is this giant gorilla.
Oh, what?
So, yeah. The couple is Vanity and this like hot-headed asshole painter guy. So to get away from her boyfriend, Vanity, of course, befriends the gorilla.
Of course.
And they end up getting it on. So we get Gorilla, Vanity. Oh, yeah.
Dude!
Oh, yeah. So it's a romantic saga about Vanity and the gorilla attempting to escape her boyfriend so they could live happily ever after.
Well,
yes,
that gives new meaning to wild
Island.
monkey sex. But,
well,
I mean,
think about it. Well, let's not be too critical.
Actually.
Let's not be too critical. Think about this for a second. Didn't The Shape of Water just win Best Picture for showing a woman having sex with a creature from the Black Lagoon? So let's not be too critical here.
I know. Yes. I'm just trying to imagine boning a fucking primate, and it does not sound exotic or erotic.
Yeah. So well, they lived hairily ever after.
Oh God! At least they couldn't procreate, because that would have been nasty as fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, but I should point out we're making fun of this, but. As you could see,
we're not making fun of Vanity.
Denise Matthews, aka Vanity, goes full frontal. She was gorgeous, and though it's washed out VHS schlocky crap, it's still amazing nudity from Vanity, and my 4th best nude scene from a 1980s movie.
Absolutely,
a 1980 movie.
Yeah, I mean, her body is flawless. She's gorgeous. Yeah. She's such a star at the time. I mean, I'm with you on this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, all right, now we're down to my 3rd favorite nude scene of 1980, and number 3 is Kay Parker in the porn movie Taboo.
Okay,
now,
I was just going to say, what in the holy hell am I watching? In a good way.
Well, yeah, no, it's awesome. This is, you talk about Mr. Skin, perfect body. It's Kay Parker with everything. But
everything
Taboo
you
now,
like, yeah.
Yeah, everything I like. Taboo was one of the last huge hits of that porn chic era that started in like 1972 with Deep Throat and The Devil and Miss Jones. And this is the era when people would, and this is including couples, line up to go watch hardcore porn films on the big screen in movie theaters. And Taboo was like the kind of the last of that 7-8 year run they had. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the reason I'm including Taboo on this list, though. Even though it's a hardcore porn film, it actually was a huge hit in movie theaters. So just as Taboo was one of the last theatrical porn hits, it was one of the first absolute blockbusters on home video. And when it was on Betamax and VHS, forget about it. Everyone who was a perv like me had their hands on a copy of this. And everyone fell in love with Kay Parker, who's this voluptuous, all-natural British actress, and she has some of the best, she has the long arms, the big bush, the big gigantic natural breasts. And in this movie Taboo, which they would never make today, she plays this lonely single mom and whose teenage son has the hots for her. They end up getting it on. Now, that part wasn't the turn on to me so much as but believe it, this was a huge movie. And the scene where Kay Parker's in the shower and the son's spying on her at the 25-minute mark is I could watch this forever.
I'm watching it on loop, but I can't
she's
stop.
sudsing up the big bush, and it's awesome. So that number 3, Kay Parker and Taboo, is my third best nude scene of 1980.
I'll tell you what, I'm mesmerized right now and shocked because I've never seen this in my life ever. Anyone with a bush like that, going to town like that, in the shower like that.
You almost have to shampoo it like your head hair.
This is crazy. I'm blown away. And on top, Kay Parker has a British accent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big Kay Parker fan, and she had a great career in the 80s. And, yeah. And anyway, so big fan. And that was number 3. Now, I have my number 2 nude scene of 1980, and one of the reasons this is on the list is this is just a movie that has stood the test of time. If you're a guy my age, we all know this movie, we all quote this movie, we all love this movie. It's Caddyshack from 1980.
Yes.
Cindy Morgan, yes,
beautiful.
Lacey Underall, the bad girl blonde of the movie's Country Club, who beds down with not only Michael O'Keefe, but Chevy Chase. And the scene at the 58-minute mark with Michael O'Keefe before Ted Baxter gets back and just goes ape shit that his niece is in bed with this guy. I got to tell you, it was her only nude scene. And I am still holding out hopes for a comeback, but I don't think that'll happen. But yes, Cindy Morgan is legendary as Lacey Underall from this movie. And that topless scene, because this was like the comedy. Everyone that year loved this movie. We still love it all these years later.
Yeah.
To this day, Caddyshack is still just legendary. And I got to tell you a little trivia.
Yes.
Cindy Morgan, about 13 years ago, actually showed up at our annual summer party here at the Mr. Skin offices. Yeah, she's from Chicago. And I can't remember the circumstances of how she knew we were having a party or why, but I think I was doing a radio show and she was promoting a book about Caddyshack, and somehow, some way, our paths crossed and I invited her to the party, but she literally showed up in 2005 at the Mr. Skin summer party at her office in Chicago, and she couldn't have been nicer. She posed for pictures. I still have a bunch of pictures with her.
Oh, how sweet.
And to me, that was cool because that's and think about this. In 2005, that was it was the 25th anniversary. That's why she was doing a book. And it was 25 years after this great nude scene when she stopped by our office, and she still looked great. And it was just an honor to meet her, and she couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, that is so sweet. And she is a classic beauty. You know what I mean? So I'm sure she's only aging well, but she's ridiculous. I love this movie. I love this scene. Holding out for a comeback. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, no, we'll see. But all right, Andrea. So for 1980, of all the nude scenes from that great year, my number one nude scene of 1980 is Angie Dickinson in Dress to Kill.
Ooh,
and Dress. It's from right at the opening of the movie, and this was a huge movie. A lot of people went to the theaters to see this movie, and the movie opens, and that's what I considered the best. Look at Angie Dickinson, completely nude in the shower.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and she is. Now, I will say this. So, first of all, you got to go back in time. Angie Dickinson was Sergeant Pepper Anderson in the 1970s NBC series Policewoman.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like the first female lead as a policewoman, right? And this is a Brian De Palma movie. And here you are, you sit down in your seat, and in the first 2 minutes, this woman that now. She had done a great nude scene in Big Bad Mama, but nobody this was before cable television and the internet, so very few people had seen it. Mm-hmm. So when you walked into the theater in 1980, it was like, for most people, it was like the first time they saw Angie Dickinson naked. So it was very powerful. And the way De Palma filmed the scene is really cool because the husband's shaving with one of those long-ass razors that look like you could fucking slice your neck. And then Angie Dickinson is looking at him completely nude, and then she starts touching herself, and it's awesome. So this is like
pretty damn hot, man.
Yeah, it's a suspense shocker directed by Brian De Palma. Is made as a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock, and it was. And speaking of De Palma, I've gone De Palma on this movie many times, but but I want to say something. This is one of the rare nude scenes, and I do want, before I get a lot of emails and messages.
Okay.
I am very much aware that as the scene progresses here, you see Angie start to finger herself in the scene. Mm-hmm. And what they did is, because it was Angie Dickinson, the nudity that you're looking at, Andrea, is Angie Dickinson, but then they got this Penthouse model, Victoria Lynn Johnson, to stand in for the masturbation scene. So what they would do is they would zero in on the bush and her fingers like rubbing soap and then masturbating while she's looking at her husband.
Dude.
And that was Victoria Lynn Johnson.
Okay.
That was not Angie Dickinson, but the Angie Dickinson that you're seeing was her. But still, to me, with all those other things, the fact that it was a De Palma flick, big movie, huge star that no one had technically ever seen nude.
Right.
This was just the big nude scene of 1980 as far as I'm concerned.
This is mind-blowing in such a good way. It's that homage to the slasher flick, but also like just her star power, making this transition, the beautiful way it's shot, the look she's giving him, and then even though it is a body double, the action she goes into, holy. And
look at us. CP just put up a close up. So now this is another thing. So you're sitting in the theater, and this is before I was before I was as I guess as educated on body doubles. So here I am thinking that that's Angie Dickinson fingering herself. So you can imagine how crazed I was as a youngster. But anyway, we later found out it was Victoria Lynn Johnson, but you could see how hot the scene is, Andrea, and you could see how De Palma filmed it. They wouldn't do this anymore, even with the body double. It's so graphic, but what a great movie. And Andrea, more importantly, what a great way to start a decade, 1980. The 10 best nude scenes of the great year, 1980.
All I have to say is get me a damn time machine, because I want to go back to 1980. Like, oh man, I feel like I missed out on so much good stuff because the year I was born.
Well, you would have fit right. I tell you all the time, you would have fit in so well in the, especially the 70s. But 1980, you would have been a superstar,
and especially like the partying, my kind of partying.
Oh my God, there was before any worry about anything. You know what I mean? Like, people weren't worried, and it was a different time, the 70s and early 80s, and then it kind of changed mid 80s. But anyway, it was a good year, obviously, and I'll be getting to a lot more of these top 10 lists because it's a ton of fun, and we have so many to get to.
They're amazing,
and I like, you know how like a kid hears a song from like Led Zeppelin for the first time, and you like to look at the expression on his face. So that's how I feel when you see a great nude scene for the first time. I like to hear your expression, so it's fun for me too.
Well, I'm happy because you're really getting the raw, real, like, oh.
Yeah, no, you're like freaking out that this was going on in the world.
I'm blown away. Yeah. And I got to make a little note to everyone. As we mentioned, this is episode 99, so you know what that means. Our next episode is 100, and we have a very, very special treat in store for every one of our podcast listeners. I cannot wait to jump into it next week.
Yeah, well, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I can't believe it'll be 100.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we'll have fun. We'll have fun next time.
Lots of fun. So let's gear up for it. Everyone have a beautiful rest of your week.
You're awesome. Thanks.
This concludes another scintillating episode of the Mr. Skin Podcast. Subscribe to the Mr. Skin Podcast in iTunes and never miss a show. Thanks for listening.